You want to look at it?
Got a lot of space.
Be quiet over there. Is this ours?
That should be Ricky's.
Okay.
Yours should be underneath there.
So I don't have any anymore.
Maybe it's in your box.
Ryan coming. Ryan's not coming.
I got to know what I'm making a motion on.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So item 2. We got a Boy Scout. I'd like to call this October 15th meeting of the Cookeville City Council to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Anderson,
Present.
Councilman Shelton, Mayor Salee,
Present?
Vice Mayor Davis,
Present.
Councilman Williams, 3 present, 2 absent.
We do have a quorum.
Mhm.
If we could all rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, Mr. Shipley, do we have any additions or corrections to our agenda?
No changes.
Seeing no changes, do we have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
We'll have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all vote.
3 yes votes, motion carries.
All right, brings us to the old business portion of our meeting. We have one item, item 2, which is to consider the approval of minutes from the council meeting held October the 1st, 2009. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second.
We have our motion and our second. Any comments about the minutes? Haven't had time to review those and no discussion. All vote.
3 yes votes, motion carries.
Now we get to our consent agenda. There are 2 items. Item 3, which is setting a date for a public hearing on Ordinance 091019, amending the zoning code pertaining to minimum lot and yard requirements for single-family attached dwellings, townhouses, and zoning districts, allowing condominiums as uses permitted on reviews. And item 4, consider awarding bids for transformers and luminaires, the electric department. And if we have no objections, we'll take a motion and a second to approve consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
Have our motion and a second. All vote.
3 yes votes, motion carries.
Now to the new business portion of our meeting. Item 5, consider appointments to the Cookeville, or appointment to the Cookeville Planning Commission, sponsor Mr. James Mills.
Mayor and council members, due to the resignation of Todd Williams, a vacancy currently exists on the Planning Commission. The Planning Department would recommend the appointment of Matt Swallows to fill Mr. Williams' term. This would complete the remainder of Mr. Williams' term, which expires January 2012.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mills. Do we have that nomination?
I nominate Mr. Swallows.
All right.
Matt Swallows.
And do we have a... Do we need a
Well, I move that the nomination cease and Mr. Matt Swallows is elected by acclamation.
Sounds good. Very good.
Thank you, and Matt's here too, if you have any questions.
Would he-
Hey, Mr. Swallows, thank you for coming. And, Mr. Swallows, you'll be fulfilling Mr. Williams' term, which will expire in January 2012, and then we'll consider you for reappointment then, but we certainly appreciate your willingness to serve the community. Thank you very much. And do we need to vote on that at all, Mr. Shipley?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and at this time,
Well, did she not say that
nominate,
nominating by
Is it-
accordation?
And so we got to.
right, nominations have ceased,
So we
but now
need
we
to-
need to confirm it with a vote,
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry.
per our city manager.
It just looks better.
At this time, I'll vote.
We're all voting for you, Mr. Swallows.
3 yes votes, motion carries.
Item 6, consider authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with TDOT, the Department of Transportation, for intersection improvements at Hudgens Street and South Maple Avenue. Sponsor, Mr. Jim Shipley.
This is an intersection that we had budgeted $50,000 to make improvements, and we were going to do it with our in-house people, and it was going to be a scaled-down version to get by as cheap as we could. We found a safety grant through Tennessee Department of Transportation. They're going to do the project, and they're going to spend $134,000 total on the project, and do a lot. They're going to do flashing lights, and our match is going to be $19,600. So we're saving over $30,000, and I would recommend your approval.
Sounds great. Do we have a motion and a second to approve?
So moved.
Second.
And we have our motion and a second. Any comments or discussion by the council?
It's always nice to get something like this, and it costs less than we budgeted rather than more than what we budgeted.
That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah,
Rare.
it's a red letter day.
And now, tell me just a little bit, they're going to straighten the little offset?
Yes.
How does that work? I mean, are they taking some properties, or was that?
Well, when the property on the, let me think about, on the west side, on the southwest side of South Maple, at Hudgens, that property was subdivided, and at that point, we got enough right-of-way from that property owner,
Oh,
so
okay.
that we don't have to acquire any
You don't have to
right-of-way.
acquire any, okay.
But yeah, they are going to straighten that little,
Kind of an offset or
Yeah.
something.
And is it going to become a four-way there, or what's the plan? I can't remember. I know we've talked about it.
pretty sure it's going to be a four-way, and that's what the flashing lights are for, because it's sort of a blind
Come on.
approach from the west.
From coming over that hill.
Yeah.
Okay. Any comments from the audience? Seeing no further comments, I'll vote.
3 yes votes, motion carries.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shipley. Item 7, consider approval of surplus equipment purchased at auction on October the 2nd, 2009. Again, Mr. Shipley.
We became aware of an auction that was being held by Mid-10 Nursery on some used equipment. The equipment that we purchased was a auger attachment, a landscape rake, a 24-inch auger, and a straw blower. And the straw blower is one that we had rented from that company before. And a new one lists for about $40,000. We bought the straw blower for $5,500. Total of all equipment purchased was $11,825. That was some equipment that our public works people really needed, and I would ask for your approval.
Very good. Well, do we have a motion and a second?
Move approval.
Second.
Have our motion and second. Discussion by the council. Will these be items that Public Works can use for the park over here and the
The straw blower especially, and the auger too, for planting trees.
planting trees?
Yeah.
Okay.
And don't ask me what a landscape rake is, I'm not sure.
All right. Any other discussion by the council? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, I'll vote.
3 yes votes, motion carries.
Item 8, consider approval of Governor's Highway Safety Office grant for the Cookeville Police Department. Sponsor, Mr. Jim Shipley.
This is a grant the police department acquired. It was a total grant of $44,591. The city's match is $11,147.75, and that equates to 75%, 25% match. The purchases, capital purchases totaling $24,295 will be a mobile radar unit for a motorcycle at $24.95, 2 in-car video cameras for patrol cars at $8,200, 1 motorcycle camera at $5,000. Motorcycle lease for 1 year is $3,600, which saves us $3,600 on that 2-year lease for 1 motorcycle. And motorcycle emergency response equipment of $5,000. There's also $1,000 in for training and $19,296 for overtime. And once again, we're getting $44,000 worth of stuff for $11,000. I would recommend your approval.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shipley. Do we have a motion and a second to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Have our motion and second. Any discussion by the council?
Yeah, this should get enough video cameras. Didn't we, not too many meetings ago,
This will get video cameras in every vehicle up through sergeants. Is that correct, Captain Dukes? Yeah. Yes, sir. And really the lieutenants, it's not that necessary that they have them. So.
All right. Very good. Any other comments? Any comments from the audience? Seeing no further comments, I'll vote.
3 yes votes, motion carries.
Okay. That brings us to the end of our regular scheduled agenda items. We do have a gentleman with us tonight here with the Highlands Initiative through the Chamber of Commerce. I see George Halford with us and Al Duvay. Mr. Duvay has been is working with the Cookeville-Putnam County Chamber of Commerce and the Chambers of Overton and White counties. In regards to the Highlands Initiative, and he's been on site here in Cookeville off and on since August the 31st and obtaining investor and stakeholder feedback in the initial Highlands effort, and is seeking direction for a continuance of economic development as well as a quality of life for our region. So at this time I'll turn it over to Mr. Duvay. We'll give you a little time to tell us what you found out.
Well, thank you, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, City Mayor, City Manager, and staff, as well as guests. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an update on the Highlands Initiative. It's a community undertaking involving the Chambers of Commerce, the city and county, as well as civic leadership in the adjoining counties of Overton and White, in addition to the county Putnam. The program that started in 2006 as a leap of faith is currently in its 4th year of operations. The Highlands Phase 1 has achieved the goal of earning community funding and support with the prospect of even broader buy-in and investment by neighboring communities. The initial effort is now a proven approach with an impressive track record, including enhanced regional notice and recognition at the state level. Belief in the Highlands Initiative provides tangible evidence of need, and the result of the initiative are prompting a reassessment of purpose and funding required to move ahead with a second follow-on initiative to achieve yet greater and more impactful results. Highlands investors and the community have received periodic upgrades from Campaign Council, National Community Development Services, and these updates have received significant coverage in the press. In brief, direct jobs have increased payrolls, while fresh capital investment has increased annual business output, not only with respect to the Highland Initiative, but also through cooperative ventures such as business park development, the Upper Cumberland Airport, and on the whole, there is unprecedented public and private teamwork and cooperation on multiple fronts. Projects like workforce development, events such as TSSAA, and numerous other improvements such as the Visitor Center are contributing to development and community well-being. To prepare for an upgrade of program infrastructure and to address investor-stated needs for continuous improvement, National Community Development Services have been engaged to obtain fresh points of view. These points of view, gathered through upwards of 70 Overton, Putnam and White County interviews by representatives from the civic, business, and public sectors will be incorporated in an updated business case. It is our purpose to be inclusive geographically and demographically with priorities defined throughout this region. It'll be our purpose to provide an organizational structure that encourages investors and stakeholder control over program strategies and outcomes. And it'll be our purpose to install a model-based business process that assures fidelity to Highland objectives, resource allocation, cost control, and continual improvement. It's expected that Phase 2 details, the fundraising target, and the calendar will be finalized during the month of November. The Chambers, as sponsoring business organizations in the counties of Overton, Putnam, and White, will continue to provide regular updates on progress throughout the upcoming campaign, and indeed through the multi-year life cycle of the New Highlands Initiative. I'll be glad to leave a copy of my remarks with the City Clerk for the record, but we want to thank you, Mayor, Council, City Manager, staff, and the entire community for a tradition of partnership with respect to economic development and community well-being. If there are any questions, I'll be glad to provide a response.
Thank you, Mr. Dubé. We appreciate you being here tonight. Having been and I know Gene as well, we've been working with the Highlands for several years now, and one of the things that always comes to mind at the Governor's Department of Economic and Community Development, he always holds a Governor's Conference in Nashville, and several years ago I was there, and among several economic development leaders and elected officials from across the state. And one of the comments that the governor made was that as he flies across the state of Tennessee and looks down, you don't see the political boundaries of cities and counties. It's just Tennessee. And that's how we all need to work together. And I would have to applaud George Halford and the direction of the Chamber Board and the membership over there, and that the people of the three entities that make up the Highlands have absolutely worked together for the betterment of this entire region. And I encourage you to, for people to support the Highlands and participate in this program. It's very worthwhile and has been very good for this region.
Mr. Mayor, the leadership and that sensibility of we're all in it together is very much appreciated. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. At this time we have let me before I open it up to the hearing of citizens and/or delegations, I'd also like to recognize our good friends here from Dr. Earl Hutchinson's advanced journalism class from Tennessee Tech University, and we appreciate you all being here tonight as well. And we also have a gentleman here that's joined us again from the Boy Scouts of America. I'm sorry I don't have your name. You're welcome to come up and address us if you'd like to, but he's working on his merit badge for his Eagle Scout, I'm sure. So we appreciate you being here as well. And we also, at this time now, I'll open up the floor for hearing of citizens and/or delegations. And if the council has any comments or announcements to make, we'll have those at this time as well. We usually allow up to 3 minutes if anyone has anything to speak about. And while you're collecting your thoughts, I'll just say that we've received a lot of, or there has been a lot of publicity recently about the Cookeville Children's Museum and the financial situation that they're in. And we all certainly want the best for that worthwhile organization in our community. They are having an event on looks like Saturday, October the 17th, from 4 until 7 p.m., a fundraiser for the museum. All of those wishing to come out and support the museum, I would encourage you to do so. And looks like, I was trying to see if there was any other.
Well, if it's the next week, they
And
have.
then, that's right, then the next Saturday, October the 24th, it's Bling Your Bike, which is an art proud bike factory that they're going to, if you bring your bike to the museum, local artists will help you make your bike into a one-of-a-kind work of art. All the artwork added to your bike will be removable. And I'd like to challenge all those big turtles. There's a turtle bike club here in Cookeville. Maybe they can all bring their slick rides out there and have the art proud decorate those. Challenge you guys to bring them out there and support the Cookeville Children's Museum.
Mr. Mayor, tomorrow there will be a brown bag concert. I'm hoping that the weather is at least amenable. It feels like we need to get scuba gear to go outside this past week. And then also on Saturday there'll be the Susan Komen race for breast cancer awareness. And one last comment. Last Sunday I spent the evening watching Shakespeare in the Park, and it was a little bit chilly, but it was a very enjoyable evening, and I'm just grateful that we live in a community that supports such endeavors as art in the park, you know, the art prowl and all these other things that go on that add to the quality of our lives. And I'm very anxious to see Dogwood Park get more and more completed as time goes by.
Absolutely. That's good. Does anyone have any comments? Yes, sir. If you'd just come to the lectern and identify yourself, we'll give you 3 minutes.
Zachary Bowman with Papa John's Pizza. I'm the operating partner there. Recently, on the 8th of this month, Mr. David Daniel came by to hand me a violation of a sign violation stating no freestanding banners or other temporary on-premises freestanding signage shall be permitted. This is what's being denied. This is allowed. Same size. Says TTU Pride on it. This one, again, is being denied. Under Section 207, the very definition of a freestanding sign, of which he circled, says any non-movable sign affixed to a building, including ground pole or similar signs. These are not non-movable signs. Also, under Section 207.7, sign maintenance. A, all signs, support structures, braces, guides, anchors, and electrical equipment shall be kept in safe repair and be well maintained. These are all over the city. All over the city, not well maintained. Also, there's an ordinance where one sign is required in is allowed in a residential yard. One sign. Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 8. 1. Enforce all of them, or let's not enforce any of them. This is a list of businesses that have signs similar to this on my drive-in from South Jefferson. Includes Brown's Electric, Triple B Nursery, Watson's Auto Sales, Honda Auto Sales, BP Gas Station, Regions Bank. The list goes on and on. You know, I mean, let's be fair. Let's enforce 100% of the law. Let's not select and pick on a business. Me advertising and getting more business increases more revenue for you, increases more jobs. It's a win-win-win for everyone.
Well, I certainly appreciate you coming, and I don't know if James or Mills, our planner, or Jeff Littrell, our codes director, would like to speak to that. I will say, as the general manager of Frontier, they have certainly yanked my signs down when I've stuck them out. And as you can appreciate, the fact that Tennessee Tech is a huge part of our community, you know, we certainly don't want to discriminate on how we enforce our codes, and I don't believe that we do. But there is certainly value to the community and to Papa John's Pizza from Tennessee Tech University. And I don't take this that you have a problem with Tennessee Tech, but in the enforcement of our codes. And I don't know if Jeff, if you'd like to address that, or.
Well, I also would like to go on record saying that David Daniel has is very unprofessional.
Well, we appreciate your comments, and I think Jeff can speak to the codes there.
Signs like this, Mayor and City Council, are considered temporary signs. They're not allowed to be put up to advertise a business or, you know, on their own property or away from it. The Papa John's Pizza sign in particular we had to complain about, so that's when we went out and looked at it. We don't do selective enforcement. We do, you know, when we go into an area, we start picking signs up. We can pick them up today, and there'll be 2 dozen out tomorrow saying the same thing. So Tennessee Tech, the Purple Pride, the Tennessee Tech signs, there's actually an exception for government signs within the zoning code, and that's what they would actually follow up on.
Okay.
You know, I wish I could say that You know, we could get every sign in Cookeville, but like I said, get them today and there's twice as many tomorrow.
Right.
So,
Okay.
be glad to answer any
That's
more
good.
questions.
Hopefully that clarifies it. I mean, being that the university is a state university and government-run entity and nonprofit is a little different than, you know, Frontier Communications or a Papa John's or.
Certainly.
Read the law.
Well, this is our man. This is the director of the codes. I don't think that you can, you know.
Mr. Director, what does such signs that pertain to civic, educational, religious, or other nonprofit organizations, no more than one temporary sign permitted per premise shall be permitted?
I don't know what section you're referring to right now.
Referring to the residential section. People have more than
That
one.
would be temporary signs of public interest, you know.
Right,
That's what you're.
prime time, right?
Mhm.
No more than one.
Mhm.
That's enforced everywhere. Here's a list of people in violation of signs. It's going to take you down.
Well, again, and I don't think this is, you know, quite the forum for a debate about this. I mean, we have our codes, and we certainly appreciate you coming and bringing your comments to us. And you can appeal it, and there is certainly a process. And I would, Mr. Swallows back there, on the new member to the Planning Commission, that gentleman back there in the blue shirt, if you'll catch him on your way out, and James Mills, the big tall fellow there, the two of them can get you on the agenda there to work on the sign ordinance. I think that, and I understand where you're coming from. Trust me, I've had my signs with my business pulled down. I understand what you're talking about. But anyway, seeing no further comments, anybody else has any additional comments or speak up to 3 minutes? Dr. Hutchinson, would you like to share any comments about your class? All right, seeing no comments, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.